great respect for Mike, and he has led the team through some very unique and challenging times during his tenure. Prior to reaching the point of contract negotiations, though, it became mutually clear that it would be better for each of us to head in a different direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so negotiations fell apart. Here we are. There will be a new head coach in Dallas. Michael hurt himself celebrating the news. Because you've been on this for a while, that the Cowboys need to go in a different direction. Not that Mike is a bad coach, but not necessarily the right coach for the Dallas Cowboys at this point. But was it a mistake for the Cowboys to move on from Mike McCarthy?
Absolutely not. It was as I've always said, it was time, and I hope. And when I'm joking around saying, you know, I'm jumping for joy, it's about the new direction, because I never want to jump for joy because we talk about it. A coach, our man loses his job and the whole staff has to go through all of that. But honestly, this is my first year, right, since coming in the league in 1988, really watching the games with fans, you know. Since 88, I was either playing on the football field, so I'm in opposition there, or I've been on one of these studios defending the Cowboys, so I was in opposition there. It worked out that this year I happened to spend a lot of time with the fans at Playmakers 88 watching these games. And we had there was hope lost. There was hope lost, so you could see it. So I'm just happy for the new direction and the new energy that'll go into the new direction. Now, to the football field. I've been jumping on this thing about the focus that it takes to win championships. The focus that it takes to win championships. And I've been harping on, are you joking? You guys don't go to a hotel room the night before a game and everything. And everybody said, well, they won 13 straight games. Yeah, regular season games. If you are good enough and lucky enough to do that, that's great, but you're not going to beat the best teams, and that requires great focus, and that's exactly what the Cowboys have lacked. Great focus, and then we can bring up all these other things and call them a distraction because you lack great focus. So that's what the Cowboys need to get back to: a team that a coach that brings great focus to this team.
What was your initial question?
Was it a mistake for the Cowboys to move on from McCarthy?
It's only a mistake if they don't have a plan, and based on negotiating with McCarthy up until the 11th hour tells me you really probably don't have a plan, because you blocked him a couple days ago from interviewing with the Chicago Bears, and you tried to negotiate with him, but you didn't give him the necessary years and the numbers that he was looking for. So I don't know that there's a plan in place, and that's a little scary coming into this situation. Now, you know, unless you're going out there and you're getting ready to hire somebody that I don't even know who that could be that could save you, it could turn out to be a disaster. Because head coaches, think about it. You want head coaches that's been there, done that before in this situation with this team. This isn't the Detroit Lions with a first-time head coach and Dan Campbell taking over a team that had nothing from just, you know, from the scraps, rebuilding the situation. This is not a rebuild. So you need some coaching, a coach that has some experience, unless you're getting ready to hire Prime.
They need a reboot, not a rebuild. Well, you think it was a mistake, Paul?
No, the more and more I thought about it, because I was a serious advocate for Mike McCarthy, but then the more and more I started listening to Playmaker, he's absolutely right. You know, who else knows the Cowboys culture more than him? But they do need a change in voice. They need a change in culture. And look, he's been there, this was his sixth year?
Season.
I mean, how many years do you need to turn around a franchise when you have established veterans, Pro Bowlers in place? You know, because you imagine if they said, all right, Mike, we'll give you another 4 years. So then I'd put you at 10 years, and I'm not even sure if you'll have, after 10 years of coaching the team, if you don't have no success, it's like,
but
what
if
are
the
we
team
doing?
fall apart,
But
if that team fall apart like they fell apart on him this year, we got to be fair with him now. The team did fall apart.
Fell apart from him, but
and they did not have a running game early on.
You got 6 years to turn this thing around, and you literally were running in place.
They're going to run in place. They've been running in place 29 years.
Yeah, true that. But you want to bring a coach in that can help take it to the next level.
But where are the points in this run where you will point to and say, wow, look at that great coaching by Mike McCarthy. Not look at the players that Jerry put on the football field for Mike McCarthy, but look at what Mike McCarthy did. Look at the great job he did here. I'm not saying he is not a good coach. Mike McCarthy can coach football.
Yeah.
But right now, Dallas Cowboys need a direction and a head man that is monomaniacal about winning games. When I read the article, Mike McCarthy says, I thought it was important that they be home with their families. I think it's important that you prepare to win championships. And family understand this. That's what I'm saying. Right, Mike? And I need to put championships first. Championships first.
And then,
then everything else comes down to that.
Dallas is football, family,
and then whatever else.
Let me ask you this, though, Mike. All seriousness, though. Why wouldn't Jerry veto?
He's the coaching. He don't have you guys killing him more because not Jerry stuck his nose in that too. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. You're saying that part of the issue is staying at home on Saturday nights instead of being together as a unit in a hotel. Why wouldn't the owner see that? Especially he hears it.
And he's had a 22-year-old Mike Irvin. He should have had enough experience to say, we shouldn't do this.
We save a lot of money by not putting him in the hotel.
But money ain't the issue with him.
It's a focus thing, guys. It's just a focus thing.
Yeah.
I understand. I love my family. I love my family. I love my family. I love them. But I'm not joking when I'm saying
I'm with you.
I want your monomaniacal, singularly focused on winning a championship, because that's what you have to be in that position when you play when it's the Dallas Cowboys. Look at all the conversations we're going to have around that team. If you don't have that team singularly focused, you're not going to get there. You're not going to do it. That's all I'm saying. I love family. I love him. I love that he loves family. And they do family in Chicago.
I think it depends on who's hired. I'm actually deeply concerned about the direction of the Cowboys moving forward. I think there's only one man that can save him, and his name is Deion Sanders. Other than that, I really believe it will be a significant downgrade, and I think the things that have held the Cowboys back for the past 30 years are still in place. The Cowboys are one of the most unique franchises in sports history. They're a family business. They are not set up with the traditional checks and balances of other organizations. When things go well, they go well. When they don't go well, they will stay the same. And there's only one person that's going to be truly held accountable, and that is the head coach, because you can move on from him. But when you lose your franchise quarterback midseason, you don't have a great roster going in. I mean, what was the run game supposed to be? What did they do to solve?
They got better second half of the season.
Why didn't we figure that out later on? Why didn't we have that run game early on? All of those things.
There were a lot of questions this year that I think were fair.
Right.
And that being said, I still don't think he did a fireable job. But that being said, if you are...
He just wasn't renewed.
Okay, well... I don't think he did a job.
When all those quarterbacks went down in San Francisco, I watched Kyle Shanahan take nothing and do something. I watched it.
Kyle Shanahan is a great coach.
That's what I'm talking about right there. We can watch when all those receivers, receivers and everybody went down in Kansas City. I watched Andy Reid shake up something with nothing, and they still win. That's all I'm saying. Point to me anytime. I know I started this saying I like everybody, but point to me anytime y'all seen this.
Why would you even mention Andy Reid?
Keep Andy Reid out of it.
Why?
But I'm mentioning coaches that have done things when you saw a deficiency in their things. And they did things that you can say, wow, look at the job he did.
Dak Prescott had the best singular season of his career under Mike McCarthy. Okay. As an individual. Most important player on the field. Right. Corrected major deficiencies in his game. Was an All-Pro and an MVP finalist under Mike McCarthy.
Now, what you call good, I call great for me, too. Now, if I have a quarterback who had his best season ever, and I still brought my butt home and sat on a seat and got nothing, where am I going with them? Huh? Did you just give me something? I ain't even asked for that cookie, but you put it right on there. You dropped that right there. How is that possible? With the best quarterback play ever. I'm not putting him down.
I think Mike McCarthy is a really good coach.
I do too.
He's a Super Bowl winning coach.
I do too.
And
But,
he's a coach that I think can elevate players, and we've seen him do that.
I like
the
him.
problem with the Cowboys is
You just can't.
everyone who steps foot in that building is carrying around a 30-year cross. That is theirs to bear, whether they contributed to that deficit or not.
Correct.
That's hanging over them.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's
Right.
a lot to try and overcome.
And Mike has to be, or the next head coach has to be one of them. And I agree with everything you guys are saying. And the next head coach has to understand that comes with it. And the next head coach has to say, okay, this is what I got to do to make sure I don't go down. I got to make sure everybody's focused on this mission because I got to hold this 30 years around my neck. Put them focused. We're saying the same thing.
Who should it be?
Boy, I woke up to a lot of things going on around here that just made me happy. I mean, made me, you start throwing out stuff like Bill Belichick, right? Let me tell you something.
Okay.
And you started something earlier, Key. You started saying,
I ain't started
his
nothing,
plan.
man. Don't have these people thinking I'm starting things.
You said about his plan, and maybe he didn't have a plan because you see this falling out the way it is, and you may be right. But I've heard Jerry say time and time again that some of the greatest moves he's made was on the fly when some things didn't work out and he had to make another move. You see what I mean? And now his back up against the wall because we're up here talking about it. Oh, who is he going to get? Who is going to get? Maybe he wouldn't have taken a Bill Belichick, but now to win in this situation, he'll go and capitulate and give more for a Bill Belichick. Or maybe he wouldn't have risked going at a Deion Sanders, but to win in this situation, he pushes all in and go get a Deion Sanders. All I know is I woke up with some happiness in my heart. That's all. Of the new direction. Whatever direction that is, the Cowboys are going.
It can't be a whatever direction, though. It's just like you said. It has to be
something big. Because he ain't going to come off that mountain, Paul. He ain't going to come off that mountain.
Exactly. That's why it's not it's be a
and you just gave me that, Key.
Or a Deion.
I ain't gave you nothing,
other
man.
coach right now.
You did a good job with that.
In our lifetime right now, outside of Andy Reid, who ain't going nowhere, that can go into the Dallas Cowboys next year and turn them around as soon as next year.
Put it right here.
I honestly think that there's about 4 people, maybe 5 in my mind. When you ask the question, Joy, and I think about it, I start off by going down to North Carolina, getting in one of them hangars, private conversations with Bill Belichick. Hey, do you want to do this? Let's figure it out. Boom. Okay, let's say that don't go well. Then I'll go to another 73-year-old and Pete Carroll and be able to say, okay, because one of the things Michael's talking about is discipline and instill certain things in you. Both of those coaches are going to do that. Then if that don't work out, then I got a third shot at the apple. Hey, Pittsburgh, were you willing to trade Mike Tomlin? Mike Tomlin, are you willing to come here and be what we got a quarterback? We know you won Super Bowls when you had a quarterback, and you can go to playoff games without a quarterback. So now, then that one don't work out. Then there's a guy in television right now that really wants to get back into coaching. He's been out of it 10 years, but that's okay. Because Dick Vermeil was out of it 15 years, and he went and won a Super Bowl 2 years after he came back with the Rams in St. Louis, and that's Rex Ryan. Somebody that's going to instill certain things in an organization, and he won't mind dealing with Jerry. Now, you talk about Deion, you talk about the eyeballs. What Rex Ryan's going to bring? He's going to bring eyeballs. He's going to bring eyeballs just like Prime would bring. Different, though. He going to talk that talk like Prime, but a different talk. Yeah. You know, and people going to respect him. The players are going to respect him just like they respect Prime. So if he can't get those guys, I would look at Rex Ryan. I don't know what's wrong with that hire, but maybe you think something's wrong with that, Joy.
I mean, I love Rex. I think, I really enjoyed my time as a New York Jets fan in 2010 with Rex Ryan. I think Rex would be a great hire.
Because we microwave people all the time.
No, the microwaving part to me doesn't.
But they microwave the wrong ones.
It's about the situation. I would disagree with you on Pete, and obviously you know how I feel about Bill coming back. I don't think either of those are the answer for the Dallas Cowboys.
But what the Cowboys are looking for.
And what they bring.
And
they bring it in different ways. And they bring it in different ways.
That's all
Bill's
it is.
going to bring the discipline and the thing that they need. Bill will bring it. Rex, and when I didn't think about Rex until he brought it up. Rex will bring it too, because Rex will want to bring it in bravado that brings a bond to each of you guys.
They gonna fight for him.
They gonna fight for him. They'll fight together.
Yes.
And that'll bring out the discipline that they need. You know, they'll be getting to be known for a defensive team that they don't get an opportunity to. And I started saying, I
think about this,
Rex
though.
Ryan.
Think about this, Michael, because you know this from the beginning. The success that I judged the Cowboys and Jerry Jones as hiring coaches, all those guys outside of Jimmy Johnson, you think about it. Jimmy Johnson had the success and won the Super Bowls and set him up for the third Super Bowl. Yeah. Barry Switzer came in as a head coach prior to that. Michael Nim was on autopilot. I give him some credit, but Michael Nim kind of was going to do that regardless. I could have coached him. Then you look at...
Okay,
You don't think I could have coached y'all?
I didn't say that, but...
Okay. Then you move on and you look at...
No, I don't think. Barry did a great job.
I'm not saying Barry didn't do a good job.
Barry did a great job.
But Michael
wasn't
y'all was on autopilot, man. Stop that. Autopilot. Then you think about the short stint that they had turning the organization around under Bill Parcells, and then that fell out because they fell out. Then they go and get the Wade Phillips, who had previous head coaching experience, and they won a lot of games. They had the #1 seed. They did a lot of things. They just couldn't finish the deal. Now you look at Mike McCarthy. Here's a former head coach that went to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, couldn't finish the deal. All of these veteran-type coaches get to the finish line but can't get over the hump. I don't think this organization is set up right now for a young offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
I agree. It has to be somebody.
Right.
Gotta be.
Do it. And you just gave it to us, Ken, because remember last time this went down, when he got rid of Jimmy, he went and got Barry Switzer. There was a lot of coaches available. He went and got Barry, who would have taken a back-to-back champion. But he went and got Barry Switzer. Why? Because that's what had gotten reported. When he said, I can win with this team, like you just said, with any coach, I can go get Barry Switzer.
Yeah.
That had gotten reported. So he went and woke him up to prove the point. So he would want to win. Because I believe he did want him back for a year or two.
But Jimmy put it together. It's Jimmy's team.
Right. Correct.
But y'all was on autopilot, man.
But you're right. But what I'm talking about is his fight with the media. Yeah. Jerry Jones' fight with the media. He said, I'm going to pick a coach. And then I went and won a Super Bowl with that coach. I'm just saying he got to get a bigger name.
What do you think it should be, Paul?
I'm happy, man.
You're so stupid.
I'm just thinking about myself.
I mean, I think it should be Deion Sanders. I think it should be.
That would be.
I mean, we would all love that.
First Bill, then Deion.
But if Deion is not an option, if Coach Prime is not going to go there, because I'm not really just talking about who can go there and do a good job. The point.
You got to go there and deal with everything.
Mike McCarthy did a good job, an objectively good job. They won lots of games. They won the division. They went to the playoffs. Like, he did an objectively good job. Put Dak in the best position of his career. But what the Cowboys want is to get to and win a championship. Now, the first step, of course, is because everyone skips a round of the playoffs here. They haven't been to an NFC championship game. Forget a Super Bowl.
Correct.
They got to get to an NFC championship game and win that first.
30 years.
Yes. So in order to get to that and get to the next level, because there's all these names, I believe, could put them in the exact same position that they're in now.
But that's why I'm telling you, everybody, whoever comes in, all we're talking about, and you mentioned 30 years of not winning. You wasn't here for those 30 years, but you're here now. And you have to have that focus to get it done, or it's going to carry around your neck. And Bill Belichick's of the world. Let me say this, too. Deion Sanders would be through the roof. Let's stop playing with that. If you ask me one,
yeah, but the point is, will he do it though? Not Prime. Will Jerry wake up and do it?
That's the whole point we're talking about it, because now what's bigger than Mike McCarthy? What's bigger now for Jerry to make his moment, right? He has to make his moment with his next statement of who the head coach is to fool people, like you just said, he didn't have a plan. But if he comes with somebody bigger, then you're going to say, he had a plan all the time. Yeah, if he comes with someone less, you're going to say he did not.
It don't matter what coach you bring in. You got to make roster moves. You can't, like, I don't care who you bring.
Well, they're going to have to make roster moves anyway.
I don't care who you, like, this team as constructed ain't going nowhere.
No, they're going to make roster moves, though. If the draft is coming up free agency.
Yeah, they're going to do,
well, at least I think they're going to. And that's what I said. I think they're going to do
that. But those other guys that y'all mentioned will help to make roster moves. Belichick won't, but yes, he will because he's a Super Bowl winning champion. But a Rex Ryan or Deion Sanders, other dudes gonna want to go play for them. Yeah. That's the whole difference. They'll help you. So now that problem we had with Derrick Henry, you get one of those guys. Any defensive player gonna be, I want to go play with them.
My question is Jerry actually gonna go all in? Because he said that. Oh, he sounds real good the way he says it. He always sounds good when he says it. But is he gonna do it?
He walked on the coach though, so maybe he is because he walked on Mike McCarthy.
We can find a word with this. You can't make a billionaire with that many billions do what you want him to do, but he'll make himself do it. And he will not let y'all see him look bad. That's what's going to make that billionaire go do something big. Well, get on out there, big billion. Do that thing.
Billions. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.